Welcome to the Tech Beyond Gender podcast. I'm your host, Meena Satishkumar. And today on our podcast, we are joined by Ambica Dixit, who is a principal partner for data, AI, robotics at VedArc. With a career spanning in India, US, and New Zealand, Ambika has led several groundbreaking work in data-led transformation, intelligent automation, and engineering leadership across sectors like government, finance, and education. She's a passionate advocate for responsible AI and a regular voice on industry panels. Join us as we explore her inspiring journey from childhood curiosity to driving meaningful digital change through emerging technologies. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Meena, for the introduction. Looking forward to the session today.
Now, I don't really know much about you, so this is going to be a great opportunity for me to know more about your childhood, your upbringing, what really sparked your interest in technology. Why don't we start off from there, Ambika?
So, I was born in India. I grew up in a family of five, my parents and my two elder sisters. And from the childhood, I have that curiosity and the passion for learning something new. And then I also have the passion for STEMs, so science, technology, engineering, maths were my favorite topic from early years of my school. Interestingly, after a few years of my schooling, computers were introduced into our schools, and that fascinated me a lot because we have very limited opportunity to use computers, but they were something different to what we used to do, to learn and explore. So that just sits in my head that I wanted to pursue in this space more. That's why I did my bachelor's in IT along with some advanced computer courses. And then I did further studies. And there was a course called B-level course from DOE, Department of Electronics and Computers. That was equivalent to Masters of Computer Application. So I did pursue further on that advanced courses along with my MBA at the same time. The reason I wanted to do MBA specialized in finance and marketing so that I can develop my skills in management and finance as to avoid that siloed thinking. So I understand that technology is growing and evolving, but I wanted to see where it exactly fits into the organization ecosystem. So that helped me to bring my strategic thinking for bringing business and technology together. If we get the opportunity, we'll talk more about that. And in the meantime, I also started working as a computer teacher during my study time so that I can apply my skills somewhere in a practical application. So yeah, that's my intro. And that from how I sum up is that in the little and less opportunity of introduction of computers sparked my interest towards technology. And here I am today.
Wow, that's amazing. Soon after your bachelor's degree, you mentioned that you did your MBA and also you were pursuing another qualification in master's, right? So during that time, was computer science more well spread across gender education wise, or was it very stereotypical in India at that time when you were finishing off, when you were doing your master's?
Interestingly, no. When I grew up in school, we've never been divided into boys and girls at that time. Our schools were very supportive in education, and I think they're pretty much same nowadays as well. Each of our teachers were pushing all of us hard towards learning and adopting the newer advancements in any of the subjects. So I would say schools have really supported in me learning something that is of my interest. As I mentioned, maths and science. My dad was an engineer, and he's my idol as well. And I think I got my genes, maths and science genes, from him. So I think I got this like a culture of engineering at home, but I was equally supported at school. So from there, I just picked up that I'm enjoying. I want to keep going. When I grew up and I picked up bachelor's of IT, one of the other reason was that it was the top trend of my time. And people who of those my age would understand that it was a hot subject of our time. like everyone wants to do courses in IT, and the jobs were growing at that time. So I started learning about it. I started enjoying it, and since then there is no looking back.
Nice. So, was there any, because you say that you had this interest and passion in STEM and then in computers, do you remember any projects that you did, that you were involved in at your school age or university? The first project that you ever did where you were like, wow, I really loved it. I love the process and this is my output and I'm proud of it. Was there anything like that?
Absolutely. I think as part of your university courses, building your projects is a core part of it. That's how what you have. That's how you apply your learnings, what you have learned over the course of that degree. So there were many instances where we have got the chance to build projects. But I still remember, as I mentioned, I did a B level course, which was started from OA and B up to C, but I finished at B level. That's where I did a sort of project where I had to automate, I had to pick up a topic on my own. I have to write the requirements. I have to develop the whole software. I have to test it. I have to get it into a state that interviewers or the reviewers can access it. So in my terms, it was well productionized to a state where anybody can access with the executive files. So I think from inception to completion, that whole thing was quite motivating for me. I'm not just learning the technology, but I'm understanding how this product should be built, what should be delivered to end customer, and what are the different phases of software development involved in it. So theory aside, I'll actually learn that through the project, the real practical implementation of that.
Wow, that's amazing. So after you finished your, what was your first job like after you finished your master's?
I think my first job before we actually started working in an IT industry was a computer teacher in sort of a diploma course organization where my role was to teach computer subjects like data structures, networking, C, C++, and some other basics of computers to the children who are into their universities, but they are learning extra doing extra computer courses. So that was my first job, and I truly believe like there is no match to a job like teaching. So that was I enjoyed, and then I started working in IT organization, and I was into quality engineering that time. I worked in it was more like a software engineering organization where we have to do the development and testing for our customers from all over, from US, Australia, and other countries. So at that time, outsourcing model was quite popular. So that's how that was my first few jobs, I would say, in IT industry. At that time, these things like software development lifecycle, quality engineering, agile methodologies, DevOps, and cloud computing just landed. I'm talking about to early 2000s, and luckily I got enough opportunities to learn everything on my own pace and upskilled in those spaces, and it's helping me.
Nice. So you have also worked in US besides India before
I worked
to
for
this?
US organizations through Indian IT companies.
Okay, 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 cool. So that did that involve traveling to America as well, or were you working
Yeah,
predominantly?
world traveling, on-site visits as well.
Okay, cool. So how were your early years in tech in India as well as in the States?
Absolutely. I mean, working in an technology industry is always comes with their opportunities and challenges. So, my early years in India, working with you know some of the customers from various other countries, was quite unique. And there was a learning curve at some time because we have to deal with their time zones. We have to deal with their accents. We have to deal with their requirements, which can be different to how you work in your own organization. So we have to adapt to those transitions as and when it's happening. So it was a quite unique experience, and all those learnings have been with me, and I'm still going through that.
And when did you move to New Zealand?
I moved to New Zealand in 2011 with my husband. So we both were in the IT consulting organizations in India, and he got an opportunity to work in New Zealand on a project, and he moved, and I had to apply for a job here because it was a longer term project. I came to New Zealand and I worked as a test manager in Futrix. That was my first job. They were developing business intelligence software for health and other sectors. And my role was to establish the whole testing practice in there. So it happened organically. As I mentioned that, the technical skills cannot work in silos without strategic thinking and leadership. Bringing a tool, new tech isn't enough to meet the long-term goals. You need a well-defined strategy to avoid any, technical debt and apply standardization across the product. And that's how my transition from just a technical person or an engineer more towards leadership and strategic role happens. So I have played the role of test manager, engineering manager, principal, partner now. And I see that there is a commonality between that. There are two aspects of it in every role that I have played in the past. One is the technical leadership as well as the people leadership. And I think the reason I wanted to navigate from just the tech engineer to leadership is to adopt both of these skills in my own. So definitely, enjoy people management and people leadership. I learn a lot from people, and I get opportunity to coach and mentor people. So that is like a really wonderful part of my job, as well as strategy thinking. Organizations have their own challenges in adopting newer technologies, but how I can help and navigate that through is what I enjoy. So it happened organically, but it wasn't, I would say, very smooth transition. I learned over time various technologies, various skills, challenges, but I navigated through.
Very nice. So, were there any turning points or defining projects that set you on the path towards working on data and AI?
Yes, there was, but I will start from the back. So, in most of the organizations that I worked, data was integral part of that from the beginning of my career. After I started working in IT organizations, and I really enjoyed data management and analysis. It gives me a lot of insights out of it. But suddenly I felt like that's not enough for me. At that point, I decided I want to learn more about data. Data science was a favorite topic and a topic of interest at that time. I think I'm talking 4 or 5 years ago. So I decided to go back to study data science. I approached Victoria University, and the professor suggested me to go for masters in AI. I loved AI. Like after I studied, like how the machine learning techniques applied to data and how the inferences comes out, which are so useful for so many researches, so many advancements in the work. So that just sparked my interest. So I started further studies, and now I decided like I wanted to further do research on in AI. So I'm currently pursuing my PhD in cybersecurity specifically. But the question that you asked about a specific project, I would say the interest in AI sparked me to navigate to different projects. So within my previous organization, I started to look for the options or use cases where I can apply my the learnings I have got from the university into the real world. So find out few wonderful initiatives or use cases which I self-led and on my own. And the best part of that was I talked to a lot of stakeholders, vendors, development teams to understand how this particular use case can deliver value and enable them with the AI and the results that they are looking for. And the outcomes were really amazing.
Mm. So, what were some of the challenges you faced as a woman in tech across different countries and sectors you have worked in?
I think, like many women in tech, I faced my share of challenges. But to be honest, they're not just gender specific. Some were tied to career change, position I held, or my personal background as well. Someone may ask you a question like, "Oh, you don't know this?" Where I said, "I don't know this yet." And then what I did is I actually go back, learn about that, and come back by saying that I have the growth mindset. I'm ready to learn and adopt to the new innovations or technology changes. So, most important bit here is that how you perceive those challenges. Those do great harm if you accept them as negative factors. But for me, they're always actuators, like how robotics that convert energy into physical motion. These challenges actually push me towards my ambitions even more harder and away from distractions. So for me, I appreciate those challenges as they give me either good learnings, supportive people, motivation, or even sometimes great mentors. So this is my mantra I always follow. Look for challenges as opportunities to succeed, not a medium to failure.
Nice, very good. Now, tell us about your current role in VedArc. What excites you most about the work that you're doing in data, AI, and robotics?
Okay. Before I introduce my role, I think I'll just give you a brief introduction about VedArc. So VedArc is a digital transformation consulting company where we help customers in their transformation journey and bring the change they succeed with. So I'm working in VedArc as a principal partner for data AI and robotics. And what most exciting about my role is how I help organization adopt AI. AI is just, was not a new thing for in our industry, but in the last 3 or 4 years, because of the introduction of generative AI, it has become a bit of hype. And some of the organization don't know where to start. So it helps organization from software development, human resource, finance, marketing. What I'm doing is I'm just enabling them with a smooth transition all the way from strategy to implementation. I tell what is the way to adopt AI and help them through the journey. So it's not like I'm just telling them there is a strategy, here you go, you know how to navigate through. I help them through identifying what is the use cases or the opportunities in their organization that leads them towards their high level goals and help them set up through the governance, set up through the proof of concept, all the way to implementation. One of the most important aspect of my job is to bring business and technology work together. So I said previously, I want to avoid those technical debts. So the best outcomes we achieve is by delivering the business outcomes and not just a tool or an application. So we talk to CIOs, CTOs, CEOs, and understand their vision for technology. And we pave the way for them to adopt AI in a way that enables them to improve efficiency of their people and processes. So we are just making the journey simpler for them.
Nice. Very good. So you've worked across different sectors,
Yep.
different domains. Now, what common patterns or challenges do you see when it comes to digital transformation?
Mostly, what I have seen is there is a strong disconnect between what business want and what technology can deliver. Although we can easily bridge the gap between those two by connecting those two together. Sometimes what happens is if there is a disconnect, that leads to mostly ad hoc approach to do things and not utilizing the full capacity of the put people, processes, or technologies sitting in their ecosystems. So we just, I think organization appreciate and acknowledge our work that brings clear direction to utilize existing processes or adopt new technology with these. So that's we're supporting them with.
Mm. Now, can you share an example of a particularly impactful AI driven solution you've been a part of?
Oh, absolutely. I have few, but I'll start with the first one, which was, I'd say, the most interesting use case of my career, where I learned a lot about, the actual practical use of AI, and that was in the introduction of AI in mainframes. So, in my previous organization, there was a time when they actually there is a transposition going on, and one of the old programming languages for mainframes was going end of support, and they wanted to transform into a more advanced technology, but some of the applications for that particular language cannot move to the newer product. So what they decided is to rewrite that language into another mainframe supported language. The challenge in the mainframe world is about finding the skills and expertise in those languages, which is hard to find right at the moment. So I introduced the use of AI, a generative tool backed with understanding the mainframe specific languages. We did started with the pilot to see if we can do it. So we tried with 7 small code snippets. Nobody expected that we will be able to achieve the results, because the language is not just an old mainframe language. It is a very different syntactical language than any other programming language. It is more structured. So the outcomes were not hugely expected by the product teams, but to our surprise, the results were quite promising. So we extended that proof of concept to more advanced phased approach, where we actually feed the generative AI models with more, amount of code, and not just we asked them to explain the code line by line and a summary, but we also wanted to convert to the other programming language as well. That was proven with good success results. But what I wanted to say here is that how AI unlocks not just the potential of one use case, but it also gives the opening doors for a lot of other programming languages that have very limited skills and expertise available to support them. So that is a wonderful use case, and it was proved that AI cannot just help in today's technology, but can also support legacy applications as well. Apart from that, we are also delivering AI strategy, which is the initial sort of strategy to adopt AI in an organization which are newly looking to go and adopt AI. So we have been working with a few of our New Zealand and Australian customers. They're very thoughtful and progressing in adopting AI. So we're actually collaborating with them, bringing them to the journey with us, co-designing the workshops with them, understanding where they think their ideas and suggestions are to adopt AI in this particular area, and then provide that strategy. So there is a lot of work happening in our space.
Nice. So, with your previous example, it was quite interesting in your previous organization. Did you notice a resistance to introducing AI? And even in your current role, developing AI strategies, do you see a resistance to, like, oh, wow, I don't know this. I'm not sure if I can work with it or bring it into the organization?
Resistance is there, but the resistance is not about I don't want to do it. The resistance is I don't know how to do it, or I don't know how AI can actually be implemented in this area. So give me more education, give me more training. At the same time, some people are more concerned around, developers using AI tools. Will that be able to rust their skills?
Do you think eventually we won't need any developers if we can use all these AI code generating tools?
No, I don't think so that we are going to shut the doors for any of the developers. How I see AI is augmenting people with some some of the work that is quite repetitive or simpler to do, so that they can creatively think towards that. So how I see is that the products will be more innovative and creative, with their developers' time, which was mainly spent on, say, writing unit tests or writing some of the review comments. Those things can be done through AI so that they can focus on more enhanced features of product.
So, how do you approach balancing the fast pace of innovation with the need for long term strategic thinking?
I think the simple rule of thumb is learn at your pace. So, technology and innovations are fast evolving. Not everyone can match the speed. What important is to stay at the edge with understanding the trend and go with the flow, not against the flow. So this is applicable to tech people and non-technical technical people as well. So long-term strategic thinking is all about stay up to date. And I know it takes a lot to move out of your comfort zone, but sooner or later that will happen. You choose you want to go little bit in stretch zone, learn things and adopt things, or being thrown into a panic zone. And this is the approach of balancing fast-paced innovation with the long-term strategic thinking. I believe we are doing product development in VedArc as well, and we started with the requirements of how AI can help us, and then we moved to generative AI approach. Then we realized that the innovations are heading towards agentic AI, so we moved towards agentic AI. Now we have understood there are MCP and A2A protocols that are available. So we're moving towards that. So there is the shift is always happening, and we have to learn and adopt those new techniques. That's how I
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah. How do you keep up with these changes?
Self learning, that's one thing. Attending conferences, sharing is another way to learn and adopt new technologies, apply those skills into practical application. So that's how I do it.
So, what does responsible AI mean to you?
Responsible AI has 5 pillars: security, safety, trustworthiness, transparency, and explainability. So these are all the pillars of responsible use of AI. And these are actually not the pillars of AI itself. It's for any new technology, new policy, new process in place, right? Do you agree with me? But sometimes the hype that is around this responsible AI hinders innovation. So it's a no-brainer. We should adopt AI responsibility and full stop. This is what we want. So we should not guardrail ourselves with so many restrictions that it won't let us do the innovation. So imagine we are in a house. We build a house, we put a padlock, first of all, to secure our house, and then maybe a safe for our expensive items. But we don't actually put the locks in every single room because that will stop us from moving freely from one room to another. What we want to do is we want to keep our house secure with the minimum requirements. But there are bad actors around us. So what we do is for that we have either insurances, we have police, we have other sort of protective systems for us. We don't have to put so many guardrails around us to so that would not let us do some innovations. So we had padlock that keeps our house secure, but then the smart locks came. That also comes with some challenges, like anybody can hack your smart locks. So again, for that you need to put some protection, but the company is looking after that. So AI is the same way. There are good actors who are actually constantly working on putting the innovations in AI so that when it comes to consumers or the organization who wants to consume these technologies, will make them easier for them to adopt. There are bad actors as well, right? And that's not just in AI, that's in cyberbullying, that's in other sort of data breaches and all that stuff. Where you have to do is you have to secure your organizations, and then the other entities like government, like tech giants and other sort of governing bodies are looking after that. So that is where I see is for me, responsible AI should have a balance with the innovation at the same time. And awareness is another sort of a point that I can think of is that helps everyone in who is adopting or using AI responsibly.
Now, how do you ensure that the AI solutions are not just effective, but also ethical, inclusive, and transparent?
I think there are lots. I will say I can write 101 different ways we can ensure AI solutions are effective. But the key points are if you are defining the policy that, you know, a standard policy of how we should be using, that also includes data sovereignty, security should be integral part of it. Apply some explainability tools so that your outcomes coming out of AI is explainable to your end users or customers, why you have done that instead of that. Fairness in data. Interestingly, the biases not just are in the external data, they're in your internal data. Have a look about around in your data and see if there are any biases and try to reduce those. Human in loop is another one. So with the generative AI models, they are pre-trained on publicly available data. But to be honest, there is some biases already exist in our system for hundred of years. How do we fix that? For that, we need human oversight. You're using technologies like large language models. You make sure that the outcomes are unbiased and free of any of the unfair responses. The next one is address any data quality issues and imbalances in the data. So the biases also comes with some of the imbalances. Not necessarily people are feeding biases, but due to imbalanced data that can generate the outcome which can be biased. Take the full ownership of what the outcomes are coming. And as I said, ready to explain why they are happening. And the last point here to conclude is education and training along the way. With all these practices, we ensure AI outcomes are effective and ethically correct.
So, you're often involved in industry panels and conferences. What are the key themes or trends that you're passionate advocating for?
I think love to talk in conferences and in the panel discussions or just group discussions as well. But the things that I like to talk is what motivates me and my audience based on my knowledge, experience, passion, and learnings. One of the favorite topic of mine is demystifying AI for both technical and non-technical stakeholders or people who are actually going to consume these AI sort of applications. That is something I strongly advocate for.
How do you create space for diverse voices in design, governance for emerging tech?
Um, I think that one of the most effective ways I have seen and personally been involved is embedding diverse stakeholder engagement right at the ideation stage, not just during the implementation or review. So I mentioned previously, like all the AI strategy we're delivering for any of our customers, we make sure that those stakeholders are engaged from the beginning. We hear their voices and we just don't talk to just the technical people. We do the discovery sessions with people across all functions. It can be IT people, executives, specialists such as GIS people, operators, document managers, HR, and even field workers. So recently we had a project kickoff last month where we went to the regional sites to visit and talk to people who are actually on the fields, not on the computers, but not on the fields, and how AI can help benefit them. They each had their unique view of the problems they face and role where the AI can play a role. So it's not just about, in my opinion, when you say hear the diverse voice, it's not just about hearing the voice, but creating a room where these voices can be heard and help shape the agenda.
Now, looking back at your global journey, what values have stayed constant for you across countries and different roles that you've been in?
Values, curiosity, definitely. As I said, I was a fast learner. I always very curious as well, like why this thing is happening, how technology can solve this real world problem. Integrity is another one. I believe trust is currency in any specific successful partnership. Whether I'm advising an AI strategy or delivering outcomes, people know I'll show the honesty, clarity, and focus on doing what's right, not just what's I say or easy. And third is empathy that I learned through my people leadership experience. It's been the bridge across different cultures, industries, and teams. Understanding others' perspective, whether it's a customer, colleague, or a community, has helped me lead with impact and not just with intention.
What advice would you give to women or migrants aspiring to build a career in AI?
It's very simple. Give it a go. You'll be amazed what this is bringing to your skill and experience. Especially in the data space, we have captured that much amount of data in the last 6 months, which we have captured, I think, in last 2 or 3 decades. And it can be utilized for greater group. Imagine the health data that we are capturing through, not just through the medical centers, but also through our devices, wearable devices that can help cure so many diseases, some rare genetic diseases which can save millions of lives, or even social networking data can help protect cyberbullying if trained in a meaningful manner.
So, me just be not having access to that data, what can I do? Where can I start?
In this particular data and AI field.
AI.
Oh, absolutely. So look around in your organization. You see any opportunities, just give it a go. And if you don't find any organization, any opportunities within the organization, look outside, see what learning courses you can go for. Sometimes there are free available courses. I suggest go for that. Or if you're really keen to, learn more about that, go to a university, do a diploma degree or some sort of course to learn and upskill yourself in that.
So, what is a myth or misconception about AI or tech leadership that you wish more people understood?
That's a very my favorite question because it's been asked so many times. And my answer to that is, and I think you asked that question somewhere in our discussion, is AI will replace jobs. People who are doing AI will replace the job, not the AI itself. It's a displacement, one should understand. AI is generating hundreds and thousands of jobs every year. So stay ahead of the curve and do your part of this shift. Learn and upskill yourself in that.
Well, thank you so much for providing great insights to us, Ambika. It was amazing. Just to finish off, I would like to ask some rapid fire questions to you. What is that one book that changed the way you think?
Definitely, I would say Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And the reason is this book was given to me by my mentor. So that has a special place in my life.
What are those habits?
There are 7 habits. Do you want me to read all those things?
If it's not, if it's not just on top of your head, then never mind. Please go ahead with
So
the
the
next.
7 habits are: be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first thing first, and then think win-win, seek first to understand, then be understood, and synergize and sharpen the saw. And what inspires me the most is begin with the end in mind.
Cool. So, data or instinct, what drives your decisions for you?
Instinct mostly.
Nice. An emerging tech that you're excited about?
Definitely, it's robotics, as they're helping in many fields, including health and manufacturing. And recently, I learned about dark factories, if you have heard of. They're like all the robots are working, so you don't need light or power for that. So they are called dark factories. So that is very fascinating.
Nice.
I want
Coffee or chai for a brainstorming session?
to be honest, none. Just enough preparation works best for me.
Any last message, final closing thoughts to our listeners?
Last message. Thank you, first of all, to you, Meena, for giving me an opportunity to come and present my thinking and thought. I feel technology is heading towards and how people can, be part of that journey. So just learn on your pace. Eventually, you'll get there.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate. And good luck with your PhD and good luck with your venture in VedArc.